In the past, Paris Saint-Germain were known as a club filled with superstar players. They broke the world transfer record to sign Neymar, brought Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappé together in the same team, and made the football world believe that winning the UEFA Champions League was only a matter of time. On paper, they looked like the best team in the world. But strangely, every season they collapsed at the most important moments. They relied too heavily on individual brilliance, focused too much on building a superstar team, and forgot to build a clear football identity. Whenever they faced pressure in the Champions League, PSG often looked like a collection of great players playing separately, rather than a true team. Then, Luis Enrique arrived in 2023 and changed everything. He did not try to preserve the old PSG. He destroyed it and rebuilt it from scratch. Messi left. Neymar was sold. Mbappé eventually departed as well. Yet PSG somehow became even more terrifying. They transformed from a celebrity-filled squad into a relentless collective machine that presses non-stop, moves as one unit, and destroys Europe's elite teams in a far more brutal way than during their old superstar era. So in today's video, we're going to break down how Luis Enrique turned PSG into one of the most frightening clubs in world football. PSG's superstar era. Incredible on paper, fragile on the pitch. When Qatar Sports Investments took over PSG in 2011, their goal was clear: turn the club into the center of world football. They signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic, then shattered the world transfer record for Neymar in 2017. Not stopping there, they also signed Mbappé from AS Monaco for an enormous fee. The peak came in 2021 when Messi arrived in Paris. Messi, Neymar, and Mbappé in the same attacking line sounded almost impossible. The football world believed PSG would dominate Europe for years. But football is not played on posters. PSG dominated Ligue 1, yet they repeatedly failed in the Champions League. Their most humiliating defeat came when Barcelona overturned a 4-0 first-leg loss with a shocking 6-1 comeback. Then Real Madrid destroyed them through a legendary hat trick by Karim Benzema. PSG's biggest problem was never a lack of talent, it was a lack of structure. Their front three rarely defended, the midfield was too open, and the defense kept getting exposed. They had world-class players, but they never truly looked like a complete team. Luis Enrique erased PSG's old identity. When Luis Enrique arrived, he realized PSG did not need another superstar. They needed a new identity. And the first change he made was very clear. No player would ever be bigger than the system. Enrique even publicly demanded that Mbappé press and contribute defensively. That would have been almost impossible during PSG's old era, when every tactical system existed to serve their superstar players. Enrique started building the squad with completely different player profiles. Ousmane Dembélé was signed not as a marketing icon, but as a tactical weapon. Bradley Barcola arrived because of his energy and speed. João Neves was recruited because of his pressing intensity and intelligence. PSG no longer bought famous names for popularity. They bought players who fit the system. And the results became visible after Mbappé left. Many people expected PSG to lose their terrifying aura, but the opposite happened. PSG's attack became far more unpredictable because they no longer depended on one player. Everyone moved, everyone defended, and everyone pressed. For the first time in years, PSG finally looked like a genuine football team. PSG now play like a machine. The most frightening thing about modern PSG is no longer the names of their players, it is the way they play. Their formation constantly changes during matches. When attacking, their 4-3-3 can instantly transform into a 3-2-5 shape within seconds. The fullbacks push high, the midfield controls the rhythm, and the front line continuously rotates positions. Opponents often struggle to identify who they are even supposed to mark. Vitinha has become the center of their game. He controls the tempo and helps PSG escape pressure. Beside him is João Neves, aggressively winning the ball and dominating duels.
Then, in attack, Dembélé operates as a false nine, who constantly drifts into different areas. This system destroys defensive structures because opponents no longer have a fixed marking target. But the most brutal part of PSG appears when they lose possession. Their counter-press activates immediately. The nearest player instantly presses, the midfield compresses space, and defenders like Willian Pacho and Marquinhos step forward aggressively to win duels early. Opponents barely have time to breathe. PSG no longer play only to score goals. They play to suffocate teams completely under pressure.
PSG finally became kings of Europe. For years, the Champions League felt like a curse for PSG, but ironically, they finally conquered Europe only after the Messi, Neymar, Mbappé era ended. The 2024-2025 season became the peak of Luis Enrique's revolution. PSG looked far more disciplined, collective, and stable than ever before. In the Champions League final against Inter Milan, PSG completely destroyed their opponents with a stunning 5-0 victory. Akram Hakimi scored an early goal, Désiré Doué delivered a sensational performance, and the entire team played like a machine that never stopped moving. For the first time in history, PSG became European champions while playing football that genuinely looked convincing. And even more frighteningly, they did not stop there. The following season, PSG once again destroyed elite clubs such as Chelsea, Liverpool, and Bayern Munich. Even when several key players were absent, their system continued functioning perfectly. That is the biggest difference between the new PSG and the old PSG. In the past, they depended on superstars. Now, they depend on the system. And this season, PSG once again proved their success was not just a temporary miracle. They managed to reach another Champions League final and will face Arsenal in a match that could become one of the most historic moments in the club's history. If they win, PSG could secure their second Champions League title in a very short period after the end of the superstar era, something that once felt impossible but is now starting to look very real under Luis Enrique. Why PSG are more terrifying now? Many people still believe the Messi, Neymar, Mbappé version of PSG was their strongest team, but in reality, the current PSG are far more complete. They press more aggressively, have a much clearer structure, and possess far stronger collective chemistry. Every player moves as one unit. There are no more attackers casually walking after losing the ball. And perhaps the most terrifying part is that most of PSG's key players are still extremely young. Barcola, Doué, João Neves, Warren Zaïre-Emery, Seny Mayuli, and Khvicha Kvaratskhelia have not even reached their prime years yet, which means this machine may still be far from its final form. Luis Enrique did not just build a championship-winning team, he built a long-term foundation. PSG now possess an identity capable of surviving even when players come and go. They no longer rely on one superstar name. They rely on a system that keeps moving relentlessly.
PSG's transformation under Luis Enrique may eventually be remembered as one of the greatest rebuilds in modern football. They changed from a glamorous superstar project into the most terrifying collective machine in Europe. In the past, PSG were built for highlights and global marketing. Now they are built to win the biggest matches. And the scariest part? This team is still evolving. Most of their players are still young, still hungry, and still far from reaching their peak. If this development continues, PSG could build a completely new dynasty in European football over the next few years. So, what do you think? Is Luis Enrique's PSG actually stronger than the Messi, Neymar, Mbappé era? And can they dominate Europe over the next few seasons? Write your opinions in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more long, heated, and in-depth football discussions.